Sabia que você inspira outras pessoas? Às vezes é difícil reconhecer o seu valor, mas eu tô aqui pra dizer, você vale muito. L'Oréal Paris quer lembrar todas as mulheres disso, inclusive no cinema. Por isso, criou o Lights on Women's Worth Awards no Festival de Cannes, um prêmio que celebra as diferentes narrativas das mulheres no cinema e inspira outras, porque representatividade e reconhecimento são importantes. L'Oréal Paris, porque você vale muito.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for Season 5, Episode 6, titled, Can I Get an Amen? My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by one very pious co-host. From the podcast pod is my co-pilot. Please say,
Can I get a... Can I get a...
to Taylor, the Latte Boy. Hello, Taylor, the Latte Boy.
I figured that would be the one that would be you would use this time. Hello, Joe.
Hello. How are you doing? How have you
fine.
been? It's been a couple of weeks, Taylor, since we spoke last.
It has. It has been a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
My schedule is all sorts of screwed up with podcasting right now. So you and I mapped out how we're going to do the rest of this season.
But why? You only have 2 podcasts.
Right, but then I also recorded 2 podcasts 2 weeks ago because I recently released a podcast this week that takes a lot of editing.
Yeah.
And then we're also getting where we're going to do 2 or 3 episodes. Yeah. And then we are going on, we're recording this in the fall. So then I go on Christmas break. Mm-hmm. But you and I are still going to be recording because we're going to finish out season 5. The whole thing is very, my baby, my job, my baby, my job. Yeah. So I'm just sort of all over.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's one of these things too where where everyone, you're listening in the summer of 2020, but we are right now just about to hit Thanksgiving, and I'm plotting out my December, and I want to take, because I've just been podcasting nonstop since the summer, basically. So I want to take a month off. But, I can't, people pay for content, right? So I'm working extra hard to bank all this content so that I could play while I'm just recharging my batteries. I just need a
What
break
will you do
podcast.
with a month off? Actually, let me rephrase that. So you're planning on taking do you have a date in mind?
Yeah, believe it or not, there is an order to this madness. And so I do have a master calendar that goes out always 6 weeks ahead. Mm-hmm. And so I do know, I think it's the week after this week, and this will make no sense to anyone 8 months from now. So probably around, the beginning of December, I already have it mapped out because what the Patreon people are going to get, what the people on the main feed are going to get. And pretty much the beginning of December. Well, I have a friend coming in from Germany. Wouldn't it be funny? Not funny, but what if something tragic happens with that friend from Germany? And I'm talking about it so casually.
Jesus.
I know. Well, maybe I'm in a weird place right now, Taylor. And
okay. Well, I'm going to save you from this weird, dark pit of despair you're getting ready to go down.
Yeah.
So let's say you stop recording for 30 days. Your plan is to stop recording for 30 days starting on December 1st.
Yeah.
How many days before you go back on for an unscheduled show?
I don't know. That's a good question. But I'm not even joking. It might be 6 weeks. I might have enough material to go 6 weeks without recording. It depends. Basically, I don't want to record again until All Stars 5 comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have this need, this desire to express yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious if there, at some point, you get talking to me or Lori and say, "This is do you want to go on the stream? Do you want to talk on the stream?"
That'll probably happen.
We were going to show. Okay. All right.
That'll probably happen.
I will be curious. Mm-hmm. I will be curious if people go back and look at whether it's Patreon or look at the main feed to see if you did release something that was unscheduled and just.
Well, this is where I'm really lucky in that I have this. Everyone should know there's an exclusive tier for people. It's only we don't let anyone more than 30 people in at a time, right? An exclusive tier, and they pay a premium amount to be part of the exclusive tier. I would probably only do an exclusive tier, to be honest.
It's a very exclusive club with velvet ropes.
Yeah.
Lori is the bouncer.
I don't know how exclusive it could be. Luke Stamen, crazy person of the show, is in it. And this Yves, enemy of the show, is in it. But anyway, Taylor, you said you had. Oh, I want to talk to you about something. Before we went on the air, and we'll get to your question in a second.
Okay.
Before we went on the air, he and I were having a conversation with the exclusive tier people about celebrities and who's gay and who's not gay and when we knew it, when we didn't know, blah, 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 blah. And it was funny. I kind of want to even though you've heard these stories before, Taylor, and probably a lot of the exclusive tier people have, maybe people on the outside have not. And I was thinking about, remember Chad Allen? Remember teen star Chad Allen?
Yes.
And it was funny is that when I was a kid, I thought he always played. So Chad Allen was this 80s teen beat heartthrob kid. He was in a show called Our House with Corky and Patti LuPone. I don't know what Corky's real name was.
No, that's not that. No, that was Life Goes On.
Oh, there was
Corky and Patti LuPone. Our House had, I think it was Wilford Brimley and Shannon Doherty.
Oh, you're
before
right.
90210.
You're right. And then also
the fact that I remember that, I really should.
And I want to say Deirdre Hall.
And Deidre Hall. Deidre Hall was the mom.
Yeah. You're right. Completely mixed up those shows. So, and then I remember as a kid, I only watched this Our House for this Chad Allen, right? He would also play like the Dickie kid on Saved by the Bell or like any of those shows around that time. He's always like the Dickie. He would always be like the Dickie kid. He looked like a little Dickie kid, like the hot Dickie kid, right?
Yeah.
And I used to masturbate to this Chad Allen so many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now cut 2 years later, probably in the mid 2000s. Yeah, mid to late 2000s. And a friend of mine who doesn't live in California, but comes to California, and he's actually friends with Chad and his boyfriend at the time. And he invites me to dinner with Chad Allen and him. And it's one of these things where I'm like, I am sitting here with someone to whom I masturbated years ago. And then, as you know, Taylor, as I've talked about in other shows before, the same thing happened when I was at a dinner party with Matthew Broderick. And so I've had the opportunity 2 times to be at an intimate dinner party with people to whom I've masturbated. I'm talking about celebrities. It's awkward to say the least, but I want to know if there were any celebrities that you used to masturbate to.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if there were celebrities that I can't think. They're always kind of faceless, like the guys that I masturbate to.
Wait,
like
what? They have no face?
Well, they have bodies, but it's just kind of a generic face. Mm-hmm. It's just I have a certain look that I like. Mm-hmm. And and that has definitely changed over time. Yeah. But I was always somebody that for me, it was more about certain body parts. Mm-hmm. And if there was somebody do you remember international male catalogs?
Yeah.
Okay. Like if somebody had a particular type of chest or a particular type of arm, mm-hmm. that kind of turned me on more than their actual face did. With the exception of there was one guy in international male that used to be, he was in there all the time. And eventually I found out that he killed himself.
Oh my gosh. So, what? Oh, wait, how are you finding this out?
Because the internet, and you find things out. His name was Spencer something.
Okay.
And because because when you first get the internet, you type in things, because I think it used to say Spencer is wearing and it was always some ridiculous shirt that nobody would ever actually wear. Like I remember they had the shirt that had the clown collar.
Do you think anyone ever ordered anything from do you think they've got an order?
I ordered something from international mail once, but put a pin in that.
Did?
Yes. It wasn't like a international. Let me say international. How do you spell international?
INTERNATIONAL.
Spencer International Mail. Yes. Okay. His name was Spencer Garbett.
Okay.
Garbett. And he was somebody that I thought was super, super cute. Mm-hmm. He kind of is a cross between if you took.
Well, Humble Pie, our girl Friday, Humble Pie, I'm sure is already Googling him, and we'll post a picture of him in the.
Yeah, no, he was super, super cute. And mm-hmm. so, but he eventually he was where he was done with modeling, or he was starting to age out of modeling, or at least mm-hmm. aging out of modeling international male. And he went to become a host on some local Fox affiliate morning show. Mm-hmm. and did it for like a very short amount of time, and then apparently like killed himself.
But now imagine he had lived, right? And imagine he had lived, and you had dinner with him. Would that be weird? And he was wearing a cheetah print jacket.
It would feel very awkward.
Yeah.
When I was masturbating at the table as a 47-year-old man.
Well, that's what's weird. A lot of times these guys, like, I actually just saw, because I used to have I was too young to masturbate, but I did have a little bit of an innocent boy crush on the kid from Neverending Story. And I just saw this.
Which one? The one that was like the warrior, or the one that was the really bad actor talking to himself in the attic?
Wait, hold on for a second. Humble Pie just posted a picture of him in our chat room here.
Yes, that's him.
Taylor,
that's not a great picture of him. There are much better pictures of him.
Oh my god, he's so basic.
But I liked them basic. Mm-hmm. I had a huge crush on Kirk Cameron when I was
who did it?
Middle school and high school. So yeah, no, I definitely I loved him, and I loved Rob Lowe. I still love Rob Lowe.
Yeah,
maybe you know what? I think I masturbated to Rob Lowe at some point.
Oh yeah, who didn't?
Yeah.
So anyway, so now Taylor, you had a question for me. What was your question?
Well, in the beginning of season 5, you and I had a delightful, insightful conversation about the size of your load.
Yeah, and
I was wondering if anything has improved with that.
It has improved. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm delighted to say, in fact, the other day that about maybe a week ago, I masturbated in the morning, I cleaned up and everything like that, okay? Mm-hmm. And then I was walking around having a day, talking to people, and I noticed that there was a dry, crusty drop of semen on the shirt. And I was like, oh my God. So that means obviously I shot enough for the shirt. It got on the shirt.
Did you wait? Yeah. Hold please.
Sure.
Hold please.
Yeah.
Hold please.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wear a shirt when you masturbate?
Yeah, doesn't everyone have a masturbation shirt?
Well, only for formal occasions.
No. Yes, of course. Do you get like totally nude when you masturbate?
Well, okay, normally I'm in bed and I just sleep in my underwear. So when it's time to masturbate, I just remove the
wait, hold on.
People are dry heaving all over the country right now.
Yeah.
So no, I very rarely have on a shirt.
Well, when I go to sleep, I'm going to tell you something. There's a whole thing when I go to sleep. First of all, a
whole masturbatory ritual.
There's a whole masturbatory ritual. I light a candle. It's a whole thing. I get in a sudsy bathtub and I read a romance novel. But when I go
playing in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Enya's playing in the background. Sail away, sail away, sail away. By the way, to me, every song is that Sail Away song. I don't know if are there other Enya songs?
Caribbean Blue. That's a good song.
Is it Caribbean Blue, Caribbean Blue, Caribbean Blue?
Oh no, is Sail Away Caribbean Blue? No, that's Orionco Flow or whatever. But Caribbean Blue is a good song. My favorite song of hers is a song called, I think, Storms in Africa. That's a really pretty song. That's a little bit more that, it's the 90s, but they had like African drums in it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so there's a whole ritual before you go to bed.
And, yeah, brushing the teeth, all that stuff. But also, like, I wear like pretty much. It depends on the season. So if it's wintertime, like sweatpants, like track set sweatpants and a t-shirt. And then if it's summer, it's like basketball shorts and a t-shirt.
You wear like long pants and a t-shirt to bed?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you wear socks too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, too much.
No, because then so the problem is that my feet get cold.
It has to be cold here, like where the house gets down into the 50s, that I can wear like long pants and a t-shirt. I usually am just in my underwear and sometimes my socks, but just my underwear.
What does Bobby Lou wear?
It was just his underwear.
But then don't you guys get hot when you're all pressed up against each other?
We sleep as far away from each other as possible.
What are your thoughts on sleeping in different rooms?
I get that is necessary for some people with snoring. I have gotten to where with him, he snores something fierce. And then I have gotten to him where there is something actually comforting about hearing him snoring, provided he is snoring at a regular cadence. It's when he does the weird sporadic snores and then stops. And I'm laying there next to him going, well, he just died. He just died. And doing the where I like gently kind of rest my hand on him to make sure he's still breathing. That definitely does a little bit better. But as far as sleeping in separate rooms, I'm not necessarily a big fan.
This week, the girls don their best drag in the dark. Coco gets dusty with Detox. The girls record a song with Lucian Piani and walk the runway in outfits that feature their best body parts. In the end, Ivy Winters was named the winner of the challenge, while Coco Montrese and Jade Jolie were placed in the bottom two. In a lip-sync battle for their lives, Coco and Jade go head-to-head, but in the end, Coco was told, "Chantez, you stay," while Jade Jolie was asked to sashay away. Taylor, name 2 things you liked about this episode and 1 thing you did not.
Well, okay. You and I have talked extensively about how this is one of my least favorite episodes of season 5.
That is crazy. Okay, go ahead.
And well, hold on. I think I am going to edit that. It is not one of my least favorite. It actually is a really good episode. It is probably one of my least favorite songs that they've ever done on the show. Yes. And I think I know why you like the song.
Yeah. Love the song.
Yeah. We'll get to that shortly. So the things that I liked were, as much as I did not like the fight, the conflict between Coco and I did not like the way really kind of both of them were acting, but particularly Coco. I liked that it was something different than Coco versus Alyssa. Like it was different dynamics kind of coming at each other. So I appreciated that. This was a fun mini challenge to watch. The end results were not necessarily all that great. Like nobody was a real train wreck with like one exception. And the one thing I did not like was I did not like Coco Montrese in this episode.
Interesting. That is
I just
very
thought she
interesting.
Kind of came off as sort of a poor sportsman-like behavior.
I don't disagree with you, but I can't. It's going to be interesting when you hear what the one thing was that I didn't like. Okay. That's interesting, but I don't disagree with you on the thing you didn't like. The 2 things I liked. I love this song. I love Can I Get an Amen? It makes me giggle and laugh the entire time.
Okay, but that's why, because Joe Betance loves a train wreck. And this song is a train wreck.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just laughed so hard at this song. I think it's so great. Every moment, I literally savor every moment of this song. I love every moment. Okay. Next, I think I really enjoyed the judges this week. Yeah, they didn't really have too much to say, not too much insight, but we don't need that. The Pointer Sisters were entertaining. Actually, I was surprised by how many. By not that everything that out of LaToya Jackson's mouth wasn't cuckoo bananas. Don't get me wrong. She had her cuckoo bananas moments. Don't get me wrong, but she did manage to say some things that made sense.
Yeah.
So I like the judges. The one thing I didn't like, here's the interesting part: Detox.
Well, I do not think Detox. There is not a winner in the Coco versus Detox fight. Don't think that I'm team Detox on this one.
Yeah.
But Coco in particular, there seemed to be more to watch with Coco and more to kind of get annoyed with.
All right. Well, let's move on. After Lanesha's elimination, the girls enter the workroom to mourn the loss of Lanesha Sparks. Everyone congratulates Jinx on her win, but Jinx still feels slighted because it's not the same attention she would have received were she part of Relaska Talks. The next day, RuPaul enters the workroom to announce this week's mini oh shit. What's the timestamp here? It's so funny. I kept telling myself, you're going to fuck this up. You're going to fuck this up. And then I fucked it up. Hold on.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
So for today's mini challenge, you have to apply your makeup in total darkness. Oh, and ladies, thanks to these night vision goggles, I'll be watching your every move.
Alaska's makeup made RuPaul scream, but in the end, Detox was named the winner of the mini challenge, which gave her an advantage in the main challenge. Taylor Latte Boy, your thoughts on everything on Jinx's like self-consciousness? What did you think about the mini challenge? What did you think about the winner? Tell me all about your thoughts here.
My thought was initially with Jinx winning, we're starting to see the edit of Roxy as the villain. And the first time we really see this is when Jinx is receiving congratulatory notes from the other girls, and Roxy kind of talks over her and is talking about her whole Tamar Braxton.
Tamar Braxton.
Tamar Braxton. And there's a couple of other times where Jinx is starting to do things and they're cutting to Roxy making faces, and they're cutting to, where she just looks annoyed by. So they're starting to build that storyline this episode.
But do you believe that edit?
No, I mean, I get that they're using probably other footage to build that narrative. I don't know that Roxy was necessarily always looking annoyed, but it feels like they're working towards that. The idea of this mini challenge. So that's my thought on that. That's really my only thought there. My thought on this mini challenge is it's a great idea. Everybody looked a little too perfect though. Like everybody kind of looked the same. Yeah,
I'm going to get to that. Yeah. I know where you're going with this.
So, but I appreciate the fact that Alaska clearly recognized that she needed to do something to stand out, and the fact that everything was so skewed and stuff, I thought was a genius move on Alaska's part. For them to talk later on as far as they feel as though she's not really giving them anything. She is giving them creativity. She is giving them really great ideas, but it seems like she's maybe doing it more in the mini challenge than she is on the runway.
So let's go to what you said. Let's go back to the moment with Jinx and Roxy. I agree with you. I think that I don't think that there's like different things that happen at different times, but I think that I'm talking specifically when Jinx is talking about how she won, then there's like a hard edit and she goes, well, let's give it up for Tamar though. And I'm all like, I bet you there was a lot more breathing room there in real life.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. They made it seem like she just cut her off right then. And then and that Jinx, but we don't know it's just only Jinx looking serious and sad, but we don't know when that happened, So, they could play around that so easily. So I don't believe that edit necessarily. With the mini challenge, is it weird to think that I don't know what really happened, but I don't really believe they did that in the dark. Didn't you think a lot of the makeup, with the exception of Alaska, but she was being obviously funny, was just too good? Like, it wasn't necessarily good, but it was...
It was a lot of hard lines. It was definitely a lot of where there seemed to be a lot of... where they all kind of didn't know how hard to apply mascara and things like that, but they all kind of looked exactly the same.
Do you think maybe what it could have been was... But I don't know why they just didn't do this, is they just couldn't use the mirrors? So, like, the mirrors were maybe papered over and they just couldn't use mirrors?
Well, I mean, that could be because my thought was there's got to be some light in there. There's no way, just from an OSHA standpoint, that there isn't some sort of light someplace that,
they were grabbing the right colors and everything.
Yeah. And I mean, and they all managed to get over to the table without anybody tripping or anything of that sort. So I feel like there probably was a minimal, at the very least, just to be able to see shadows and stuff. It wasn't quite like what they made it out to be, where it's, Clarice Starling in Silence of the Lambs, where she can't see anything and she's like, fumbling around in the dark.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I could buy into that. You're right. Maybe there's like a little like pen light that they could see what makeup they were picking up or something like that. Cause they had the right colors. It was really odd that they were in. How would you find that? Like, I wouldn't know. If you turn the lights off in the room I am right now. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do that. Because it's dark here. And then so let me tell you this. That this room currently has standard things that you would find in an office. Okay? And in fact, let me see. I can't really move this camera around.
I was going to say, you're going to have the light of me, though. Let me turn off my light to make it a little bit darker in here.
Oh, yeah. The computer light's going to be on, huh?
Well, that did nothing.
Here, let me cover it with a towel. But then you're going to be able to see me.
Oh, here, let me do this.
No, but it won't matter. I mean, the monitor light will be on.
Oh, okay.
So I'm covering it with a towel. Sorry, you won't see me. Okay, hold on.
Joe, where are you? I can't see you.
So I'm going to turn the lights out, and then this room has like standard things that an office would have. So then you will pick an item once I'm in the dark, but you need me to find. Okay, like pick like 3 things. Okay.
Okay. Your phone. A pen.
Okay. So now the lights are out, completely out. It's pitch black in here. Okay.
Okay. So, okay, did you hear the first 2 things that I said?
No, I had my headphones off.
Okay. So if you can find your phone.
My phone's not in this room.
Okay. Well, that makes it extra challenging now, doesn't it? I'm trying to think of things that would be a notebook.
A notebook. Okay.
A notebook, a pillow.
Okay.
Like a pillow off the couch that's next to where you are. Yeah. And a movie poster.
Okay, I know where those things are, but
like a movie poster that isn't up.
Yeah,
one that's on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Entertain the audience while I do. So a notepad, a pillow, and okay.
A notepad, a pillow, and a movie poster.
Okay.
So this would be a great time for Joe to like become the Foley artist and like add in where it sounds like he's just falling repeatedly down steps. And you hear like a car swerving to crash and a cat like wow sort of thing. Would be very, very funny right now if that was what Joe decided to add, but he probably won't because he's trying to be right in the act of drag sciences. He is a professor of drag sciences right now, and he's trying to prove a point that he will be able to find a notepad, a pillow, and a movie poster. Will he be successful in this? Will his hypothesis end up being correct? That's the right word, right? Hypothesis? Isn't that what it is when you have a theory of something happening? It's called a hypothesis. So it sounds like he's doing something. I can hear something, but unfortunately I cannot see because he does in fact have a towel up over the microphone.
Okay.
Did he fall? Did you fall? Joe?
Okay.
Oh God, it is dark in there, isn't it?
All right. Okay, I'm back. I'm turning the lights on.
Okay.
I did find it actually. So I found. Here's the pillow.
Okay.
It wasn't that hard actually. Here's the notebook.
Okay.
And this is the only kind of movie poster I have in here. It's from Over the Garden Wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty. And there you go.
All right. Did you have a hard time finding all of that stuff?
No.
Okay, but is that also because you kind of knew the general area of where they were?
Yes, I knew the general area where I was.
Okay. Well, okay, you also have to notice they didn't seem to show them all when they said, she got she-mail or you got she-mail.
Yeah.
They didn't really show the table. So is that something where I wonder if they told them previously, bring over makeup and put it on the table?
No,
or if they had them stand there and that nobody went over to the area with the makeup mirrors.
No, but what I'm telling you is I think that you were right. I think it was dark, but that there was this tiny, tiny little pen light where they could kind of make out with the brush they were picking up and maybe kind of the color that they were getting.
Yeah.
But they couldn't see anything else.
I mean, it's kind of like, we just finished a season of Dragula where one of the challenges where they had to go into a haunted house.
Yeah.
And they definitely tried to make it look like night vision where the contestants couldn't see anything, but they also were screaming because they obviously could see when people were running up at them.
Yeah.
And things, which meant there was some sort of light somewhere that they could see movement and shadows.
Yeah.
So I feel like that may be part of what was going on.
Would you have picked Detox as the winner of that challenge?
I thought Detox's was not bad. I mean, they all kind of blend together. Pardon the pun. They all kind of blend together. But I almost would have picked Alaska just because it was so different and so funny.
I agree with you. It was super odd. All right. Moving on. Main challenge. Next, RuPaul announced this week's main challenge.
So, for today's main challenge, you'll be writing and recording the newest inspirational anthem. Can I get an amen? Amen! No, I mean, actually, that's the name of the song. Can I get an amen?
Can I get an amen?
Yeah. Now, you'll be writing lyrics in 3 teams. Detox, since you won the mini challenge, you get to decide the teams.
All right, in the workroom, Coco feels Detox intentionally placed Coco and Alyssa together in hopes that they would fight and thus fail. Meanwhile, over at Alaska Talks, Alaska's worried that Detox and Roxy might be bringing her down. On the other side of the room, Ivy Winters and Jinx are concerned that Jade might be weighing their team down. Taylor, your thoughts on everything that happened in the workroom before the table visits?
Detox was trying to play the whole, I wasn't trying to be shady.
Yes.
I was just putting the teams together. That is such a load of horseshit.
Exactly. And that's what bugged me about her this episode.
Yeah. That it was just, it was dirty pool. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a great strategy because you figure you could there's a chance you could take out at least one of 2 of the stronger contenders. Mm-hmm. But for her to try to be the whole innocent, like didn't do anything. I don't know what you're talking about. They have video of you doing it. Did you really think they weren't going to show the video of them? The whole, we'll make them go first. And I just thought it was really funny to put them together and all that kind of thing. I think any one of us that was trying to use a strategy would have seen that and thought, oh, this I have to do that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, all right, I will say this. I did notice there was a weird correlation between Jade feeling underappreciated and Alaska feeling underappreciated.
Yeah.
Like that they're sort of 2 sides of the same coin, because it feels like in some ways Jade hasn't been bringing it, but Alaska has.
Did you get the sense that Alaska felt underappreciated?
Just she felt like she was like it almost felt like she was the least popular kid at the popular kid party. Okay. She's still a popular girl, but she's not as popular, doesn't have that shorthand that Roxy and Detox have, because like they've talked about, they came up together. So there is sort of that. I thought Detox and Roxy, it's almost like they kept telling them just keep going amen, like into the camera. Mm-hmm. Like it felt like they were just doing that over and over again. Mm-hmm. And once you say something more than once, sometimes it's not funny. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of what this felt like.
All right, very good. Later, RuPaul entered the workroom to perform some table visits. RuPaul tells Jade that Jade needs to try harder. RuPaul warns Alaska that her language might be a little too salty for the song, and then has an awkward discussion with Alyssa and Coco about making sure their song is funny. Any big thoughts on the table visits, Taylor?
This one felt like Ru was trying too hard.
Yeah.
This one felt like I'm going to just try to fuck with everybody and just say, no matter what they tell me, if they tell me, I'm going to tell them down is up and black is white kind of thing, where it just felt very much of the, because normally she loves when people say, dirty things or filthy things. And then she suddenly goes, well, you try to have to make this family friendly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, all of a sudden. Yeah. They've done that before. Didn't that same thing happen with the children's show too?
I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is where they're starting. Maybe she was in a place where at this point, season 4 was a big success. So maybe she's trying to think that she can broaden her market in season 5 by having them not get so filthy.
I could see Alaska getting mixed messages because she was super dirty as Lady Bunny in the Snatch Game, and RuPaul loved it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, is that it's that she just kind of comes in and she just says things just to fuck with folks. Yeah. And, telling Jade she needs to try harder. What the hell is that? Well, no shit, Sherlock. Yeah. That's, then tell me what you want from me. Tell me how you want me to succeed. Yeah. And then I'll do that. Mm-hmm.
I agree. RuPaul is a shady queen. Taylor the Latte Boy, she sure is. All right, in the studio with Lucian Piani, the girls record their tracks. Coco and Alyssa seem lost. Ivy Winters impresses Lucian, while Roxy Andrews amuses Lucian with her pronunciation of sequin. Okay.
A classic moment.
Back in the workroom, Coco and Detox have words over Coco's attitude towards Detox.
Girl, I thought she was about to go off. No, girl.
This reminds me, because, we're also concurrently covering season 7. Yeah. And we just did the Despy Awards. And during the Despy Awards, Kennedy and Jaden are together. And they do a bit where he's going, girl this and girl that, and Kathy Griffin shuts it down. But, a season that's not going to happen for another 2 years. But anyway, I think that's going to happen in season 7. But the point is that this part reminded me of that. All right, here we go. And then okay. I want you to put your therapist hat here for this fight.
Do you feel like she was instigating it? Oh. And then tried to play like, oh, I didn't do anything.
What's the tea?
Now, do you think Detox knew what they were like? How did Detox know they're talking about her?
She made some reference to that they were darting eyes over at her. She says that during the fight, and then Coco was doing the whole like I wasn't looking at anybody. Yeah, but it also is a situation in which she might not have been darting eyes, but Alyssa doesn't have a really great poker face.
No,
and you also figure if they're talking in hush hush tones, and this is immediately following, the whole thank you Detox, thanks Detox. What are you talking about? Then I could see where that creates, a heightened sensitivity on Detox's part. Plus, you've also talked about the fact that room is super small, so they can. Why would
it's smaller than you think it is?
Okay, so there's a good chance that they can all hear each other, or there is that feeling of. I think it's very rare that people have conversations that other people aren't privy to.
All right, here we go.
I'm fine.
Well, Miss Thing, if you're going to say my name, you've been throwing dust and shade.
I said thank you. All I said was thank you, Detox.
Well, thank you for what, though, Miss Thing?
Now, I know I didn't get a chance to watch Untucked, Taylor, but does your opinion of Coco have to do with Untucked? Because so far, I think Coco she's trying to just fuse the situation.
Well, I think she's trying to diffuse the situation, but because she got caught. That's what this is. This isn't something where I think she's on one hand, she's entitled to her feelings, but I think that the better way to do that is to diffuse the situation by saying, I'm not really happy. What's done is done. There's nothing I can do about it, but I'm not happy with the fact that you paired the two of us up figuring we would go for each other's jugular.
All right, here we go.
But she feels like you were instigating.
I wasn't instigating shit. I'm not trying to be Dusty. I'm not trying to sabotage anybody in this competition.
But you're right. I had forgotten that we did see that scene of her actually saying, I'm going to pick them first and blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way, I'm sorry you feel that way, because that's not the case.
I'm giving dust. I'm giving this. I ain't said a word. I'm just standing here.
You haven't said a word, but you said a lot to Alyssa.
By the way, Roxy putting her 2 cents in.
I don't need y'all to gang up on me.
I'm not ganging up on anybody. It don't matter to me
because I don't need that.
I'm not ganging up on anybody.
I said what I had to say.
When you're on stage and you say, thank you, Detox, snotty like that, when I see this and I see eyeballs flying at me, I'm going to fucking say something.
I didn't even look at you. Who eyeballs was flying at you? And my eyeballs didn't fly no way.
All right, your thoughts on this little tiff they had here. Now, Taylor, you said I haven't watched Untucked, but is it worth bringing up the stuff that happened in Untucked here? And
it's just a continuation of this, where just Coco seems to be very much of the deflecting. We're going to deflect. I have my feelings, and I feel, but anytime anybody questions her on it, she immediately, like when you think about the whole Alyssa and Coco thing of a couple of weeks ago, where Alyssa's asking her questions. And she's immediately changing the subject. She's talking about, I laid in bed crying next to my husband and all these stuff. That has nothing to do with, I also get that there's editing going on and that kind of thing. But it just feels very much of like where when Coco doesn't get what she wants, she's low energy. It's similar to when she was the ventriloquist dummy on the children's program. With this one, when she was singing, she just seemed really low down. She had her hair, like her wig in her face. She was covering her face up with the headphones, all these different things. And on the one hand, I appreciate to some degree Detox saying, I heard you say my name. Let's talk about it. I mean, she's coming at her a little bit more assertively, more aggressively than that. But there, kudos to Detox for that. Now,
what?
Detox, hold on. Detox then ending with staying with the whole, I didn't try to instigate anything. I'm not trying to sabotage anybody. That's a lie.
Yeah.
So, but I think the Detox kind of coming at her and saying, had it been a situation where they walked in and she hadn't said anything, I don't think Detox would have come after her. I think Detox would have just let that dog lie. But because of the fact that she did say something, Detox is like, one, I'm not going to let you talk shit about me. 2, on some level, she's got to know I'm in her head. And I can push this a little bit more and I can manipulate her a little bit more to where maybe, get rid of Coco.
Interesting. I never thought that Detox was so thought of. Maybe she is. Actually, I could see her being a manipulative bitch like that. What about the recording session? Any thoughts on the recording session? Or
I thought that in this one, I thought Lucian was great. You know, I thought as far as, you know, even though he did kind of have the occasional like funny face, when, you know, like when Jade was singing really softly or some of the notes that people were hitting, it wasn't a Todrick choreography.
No. But Lucian does get gross later.
Oh no, but is this really kind of the second song with him?
Third be the second one, maybe. It's very early on in the Lucian chain of events.
So I kind of feel like in the very beginning of, and I know that we always kind of go back to him, but just in the very beginning of Todrick wasn't as gross as he got very quickly on future seasons.
You know what's so funny?
So maybe we're seeing that with Lucian here. I'm sorry, what's so funny?
I went to a friend's house, you know, family and everything, and I forgot that they're friends with Todrick. And I started in on my Todrick rant. And they're like, what's going on with Todrick? About him not paying people? Allegedly not paying people. And then even the kid knows Todrick, right? And he's like, what's happening with Todrick? And I was like, nothing, everything. And then I had to be like, I'm such a pussy. I was like, everything's fine. No, I'm sure it's a misunderstanding. Just because
so you're Coco?
Yeah, I'm Coco. I was like, I kind of want to start a fight.
Yeah.
Because they like him and they're nice people. They don't know. I could tell the husband who I grew up with, I could tell he was like, he got it. But the wife and the son, they were like, oh. And I just changed the subject really, really quickly. We'll be back right after this.
Pausa rapidinho agora para falar de dica de ouro para os papais e mamães. Depois de experimentar a nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha, tudo ficou ainda melhor pro meu filho. É a única com canais em X que se adaptam aos movimentos, com 2 vezes proteção noturna e cintura elástica que se adapta ao corpinho do bebê, além de ser super fácil de colocar e tirar. Praticidade pura. Então guarda essa dica. Nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha. Bebê, estamos juntos nessa, mais do que nunca. Agora curta seu podcast.
A Max, seu streaming queridinho, veio aqui no seu podcast pra saber. Você curte reality aventureiro ou prefere um conteúdo mais emocionante? Seja lá qual for seu preferido, tem na Max. Os realities que você ama, como Quilos Mortais, agora em versão 100% brasileira. E tem novidade, Sobrevivência Extrema vai ser o seu novo vício pra maratonar. Tem Largados e Pelados, Masterchef, Operação Fronteira e muito mais conteúdo brazuca pra ver. Vida real pra todos os gostos é na Max.
All right, it's Elimination Day and the girls are getting ready for the runway. Detox discusses all of her plastic surgery and Jade Jolie shares the difficulties she's faced since coming out of the closet. Any big thoughts on this very kind of classic Elimination Day kind of conversation? The writing's on the wall, like Jade has her moment and she's fucking toast.
I thought the same thing. Like, well, we know who's going home this week.
Yeah.
She has her teary moment, which was a sad moment. I mean, I feel I've been very fortunate that my coming out story I was very well supported by my family and the majority of my friends. And, I don't know what that's like per se. So it definitely, I've never been the biggest Jade Jolie fan, but I did feel for her in that moment when she was talking about it and saying, the one thing that she said is, I promised myself when I walked out, I just told myself, don't look back. Just don't look back. And that was kind of heartbreaking to hear.
Mm-hmm. Look, it was heartbreaking for me because it's an axiom in the world of Joe Betance.
Oh, I forgot about this. That's right.
I'm a sucker for a twink crying. And there's a twink crying. I just want to immediately be like, I'm single. Let's date, Now, what's funny is, and I was going to say this for later, but let's talk about this now. Also,
what do you think that is?
What?
That you are a sucker for a twink crying. What is it about seeing a twink crying that speaks to you?
I think there's a codependent part of me that wants to go in and like save the day and be like the hero and comfort them.
How would you save the day? How do you think you could save the day for a twink crying?
You know what's so funny is I'm not going to use a weird example, not have anything to J. Jolie or crying or anything like that. But I remember, but it touches on the same area.
Okay.
I remember a few years ago, I remember I was dating Cameron at the time. Justin Bieber went on a hike in Runyon Canyon, okay, which is in Hollywood, like a famous like celebrity spotting hike place, okay?
Okay.
And when he got to the top of the hike, there was just a random middle-aged guy sitting on a bench, and the paparazzi caught this. And just a random guy just sitting there enjoying the view. And Justin Bieber just like walked up to him and had like a full-on like 45-minute conversation with this guy. He didn't know him. He just said, I'm just going to walk up and talk to this guy for 45 minutes, right? And the paparazzi was talking about how he did that. And I remember thinking like, oh, you know, I wish I was that guy. Because at the time, Justin Bieber was still hot. Now he's literally disgusting. Right? Like literally disgusting. Okay?
Wow. Okay, yeah.
But at the time, I was like, if he would have talked to me, I would have been like, because, and actually I think it's a key to his disgustingness. I think it reminds, Justin Bieber is essentially, he's not much different than Aaron Carter. Here's what I mean. Aaron Carter just inked his face. Yeah. And I think you would agree with me, Taylor the Latte Boy, that if someone tattoos their face, they hate themselves.
That's a cry for help.
That's a cry for help, right?
Yeah.
And I feel Justin Bieber making himself look so fucking trashy and gross right now. He hates himself. Okay? And at the time he wasn't doing that, but I remember thinking like, because I've always been a Justin Bieber defender. I've always thought he's gotten a rotten break in this life. Like, he's gotten a good break too because he's a rich pop star.
But
I always
what you wish for kind of thing.
Yeah, I always feel the media has always been really hard on him because I feel especially he didn't get to be like a teenage boy. And when he did stupid teenage boy pranks, they made it seem like he was the biggest criminal. And like, he threw eggs at somebody's house and it was like a gigantic story. I hate to say it, that's what obnoxious white gay boys do. I'm not gay boys, I'm sorry. White teenage boys do, you know?
Yeah.
That's just white teenage boys just do it, you know? And he wasn't allowed to be a teenage boy. And then it's also, it's kind of scary that it's one of these things where, look, I deal with it on a microcosm of what Justin Bieber does. Very microcosm. Microcosm. But when you are creative and then you're surrounded by people who enjoy your work, it becomes, and something I'm dealing with right now, it becomes difficult to know what's up and what's down. You know? Like right now we're in the exclusive tier. Okay?
Yeah.
And on this Joe Betance, I pour my heart out, but all they do is pretty much tell me how pretty I am, right? And of course, then today everyone should know something happened to me today. I'm not going to get into it. And I went on the bigger channel, and they were just, oh, what a piece of shit I was, and blah, 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 you're crazy. Even the exclusive tier people, they got brave all of a sudden in the Mixler channel, you know. But it's one of these things where I often want to go to the Patreon people and tell them, tell me what works for you, what doesn't. But I never know if I get a real answer or not. And Justin Bieber has it on a million degree, because not only that, it must be so much pressure to be a millionaire kid, and all these grown-ups who are supposed to be older and smarter than you depend on you for their livelihood.
Right.
And he doesn't know what's up and what's down. He doesn't know who to trust. Does that make sense? And I think that's why he's fucked up now because of it. But going back to the twink crying, going back to that moment, I would have been like, Justin, listen, I have no skin in this game. This is what you need to do. This is like bubbly blobbity blue. You know, this is what's going on. And just because, and I will say this about Justin Bieber too. Unfortunately, he has not gone down this path. It's too late. Justin Bieber, and people might not know this, is actually a very talented musician. It's how he became famous. He was this talented little kid musician. And he was on YouTube. He was basically a YouTube star that became famous. And it's too late now, I think. But I think at the time there was a critical juncture. He could have gone the Justin Timberlake route.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And now he's not a musician anymore. He's basically a a gossip star. Can you think of, besides Baby, can you sing any other Justin Bieber song?
Sorry.
Sorry, and that's it? What else
Yeah,
can you do?
there's the only two that I would have heard of.
Yeah. So it's like, what is going to happen to this? Anyway, the point is, going to your question, it's that kind of like nurturing, guiding, like thing that I have. I don't know.
But only for twinks.
No, because there have been people who come to me other times too.
I know.
What's funny though is I have what happens is they come to me and then when they don't listen, then I get a very, very, very low tolerance for their behavior. I want someone who just basically obeys me and does whatever I want them to do.
Like a twink?
Yeah, but then they eventually, you know what's so funny is I highly recommend this to somebody. George Bernard Shaw wrote a play called Pygmalion, which was the basis for the musical My Fair Lady. Okay? But they made a movie version of it in the late 30s, early 40s, some point. And it's actually weird. The musical is actually based on that movie, which is based on the play. But I was watching that movie, Pygmalion. Okay? And I was like, oh, I'm Henry Hill. I'm Professor Henry Hill. Henry Higgins. I'm Professor Henry Higgins. And I find this new Pygmalion that I'm going to mold in the shape that I do. And I do. But then once they become who I want them to be and they become self-aware and independent, then they break away because they don't need me anymore.
Don't call Evan that.
No. Look, he put the pig in it.
That was my joke. Pygmalion.
Yeah. But, I'm mad at him too right now. Or I'm mad at everybody.
You're mad at not me.
I'm not mad at you. Because I need the free therapy. All right. Now it's time for Taylor, the looks. Are you ready to talk about the looks, Taylor?
No, because I have one more thought.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think that it's interesting that they show Roxy at one point when Jinx is doing her big long note. Roxy does something about the whole, Jinx is like I think Jinx is the absolute lowest, which is another example of Roxy looking annoyed because she does all of these stunts, but then they show Detox doing all of the stunts next to Roxy a few minutes later. It's just, there's just such a hypocrisy there. So that was my last thought before the looks.
All right. Now it's time for the looks.
Sorry.
Taylor, the category is favorite body part. Who were some of your favorites? Who were some of your least favorites?
My favorites were, I loved Ivy's look, her newspaper print dress.
Oh, yeah,
I thought she looked great in that. And I loved Detox's ass look.
Yeah. It is a good look. Look, I will say this about Detox. The one thing you cannot deny about Detox is that bitch serves looks.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was, I remember the first time watching that when she turns around and they all go, what? They all they all yell. It was pretty funny. And I thought Alaska, I initially thought Alaska looked pretty and I liked the pink dress, or they called it like pink ice or violet ice or something. But then in Untucked, I guess because the lighting is so different, she looks real hard.
Oh, really?
In Untucked, yeah. But she also is crying when she gets back back into the thing. So I think like her makeup is streaked and stuff. Also, did you notice that when Rue introduced, not only when she introduced it to the queens, but then introduced it on the deliberation on the judges table, she said Ruth and Anita, the Pointer Sisters, instead of the Pointer Sisters, or Ruth and Anita Pointer.
I did. Now you're getting specific. I did clock something weird, but I don't know exactly what you're talking about. But yes, I did notice that something was weird about what she said. Explain it again. What it is?
She said Ruth and Anita, the Pointer Sisters.
Oh yeah.
Instead of saying, the Pointer Sisters or saying them by their name, she did it twice. So I'm wondering if that's a legal thing. I know at some point, well, one's Pointer Sister is dead. But I know that like they had kind of splitting up at one point, and I think that there were Pointer Sisters thrown across the four winds, and like everybody was kind of doing their own. So I wonder if that is an issue. Like I remember Freedom Williams left CNC Music Factory, but somehow he got the rights to the name CNC Music Factory. Mm-hmm. So then when he would go to like, state fairs and gay prides, it was like Freedom Williams presents CNC, because he wasn't allowed to call it CNC because the Clavies and Civilis and Cole were.
What are you what are these names and words you're throwing around?
Okay, I'm talking about like when popular groups split up. And then there's the fight over the name. CNC, you remember CNC Music Factory?
Yes.
Okay, remember the main rapper in it, Freedom Williams? Mm-hmm. Okay. He left the band, but something happened where after the one died, like the rights to the name came up, so he grabbed the rights before the other C could get it, and then he was touring as CNC Music Factory, even though he was the only one from CNC Music Factory. There was a whole thing like En Vogue did the same thing, where there were like literally like two En Vogues running around at one point. They were fighting over who got to use the name, so one was En Vogue and the other was En Vogue featuring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like whenever Starship, like that was originally Jefferson Airplane, then Jefferson Starship, then Starship. Mm-hmm. Whenever the guy that sang Nothing's, what's the song from Mannequin? Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Yeah.
When he tours, like when he does the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot, it's Starship featuring Mickey Thomas. Like they can't just call themselves Starship. It has to have his name in it because of legal rights. This has nothing to do with the looks, but it's just one of those interesting, fascinating, to me anyway, things about pop music. And I just ultimately, the whole thing of Ruth and June, the Pointer Sisters, caught my attention. Also, LaToya Jackson, did she have a show called Life with LaToya?
I get a sense that there was a reality show in the works, or there was. While you talked about those, I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, she definitely, where when Rue's introducing her, she makes some comment where she says something like, how's life with LaToya? And LaToya Jackson looks stunned, where she doesn't know what to say. She's like, it's good.
It was a reality show, full episodes.
4 episodes?
Full episodes.
Full episodes. Okay. So, also, was this the last season that they did a stupid camera pans really fast at all of the judges, and Santino always does the asshole lips where he turns and looks at the screen?
No, it might be season 6. I think they did it the entire time that Santino was there. Okay. Well, maybe I don't remember.
Okay. That's one of my least favorite things about the series. Yeah. Joe's doing the face right now, and he just looks.
It was always the same look. He was always like,
yeah. We always just think where he kind of puts his fingers on his chin, and then he does where he makes his lips into a puffed up asshole.
What's funny is it's so funny. I clocked it today too, because I thought the Pointer Sisters did the best one I've ever seen, where they didn't try and model it up. They went like they did like a weird, like a scared look. I'm like, oh, that's what I would have done, like a weird, silly look.
So, what were your favorite looks? And that's the looks.
Well, did you have any least favorite looks? Well, I'm trying to think of looks that you didn't say, and those were pretty much the good ones.
Well, Coco did the weird, like, body thing where she said that her thing was her heart, which I feel like there are 4 billion other things she could have done for that instead of the weird, Kennedy Davenport, when the trade don't go well look.
Yeah.
And Coco just kind of had on a shorty kimono off the sleeve. Trying to think, J. Jolie's look was horrible.
Oh, horrible!
Which with the weird hair extensions all over the place.
Yeah, it was awful. It was an awful look. She should have gone home. She was right to go home for that look.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Jinx's look was like black and white, but it looked like it was made out of tinfoil.
And what was her body part? I only guessed, but I had a guess. But what was her body part?
I don't remember.
She was the only one that didn't say what it was. So my guess was it was her shoulders.
Okay. Well, I know that Alaska, hers was her collarbone.
It was her right collarbone.
Her right collarbone. But I don't know.
Yeah. Anything else about the looks?
No. Not a great group of looks this time.
God, I have this fucking Taylor Latte boy scared out of his fucking mind now about these looks. He saw an email that I wrote to somebody, and ever since then, he's like, meh, looks, whatever.
I know that you're trying to. I know that you don't enjoy it, and these are also looks that I have seen before. when we get into the next season, I may be very much wanting to talk about
I think I might have a solution for this. I don't know yet, but I'll talk to you about it off the air. Which is funny because by the time this airs, if the solution happens, it will have already happened. It's really weird.
Yes.
It's like
how meta.
Yeah. Well, no. What's the one with the movie with the dream? Inception.
Deja vu.
No, Inception. All right. Well, that was the looks. All right, Taylor. Now let's break down this song. Your favorite song.
Ugh.
Can I get an amen?
Okay, so now this is the actual single version where they actually have they have this in the TV show one, but they have choruses in this one, but they don't have it in the TV one. Okay, here we go.
I lost all hope today. My car broke down. I'm empty.
Okay, so before I want to start right here. So these are the lyrics that Coco and Alyssa wrote. Now, what's funny is, and this is where I want to get your opinion, Taylor, is when you're watching the show is clearly making fun of them and how shitty their lyrics are in the workroom. Okay?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, God, these are terrible lyrics, right? And Alyssa's so amused with them. But in a weird kind of way, I'm so laughing at them because they're such silly, stupid drag lyrics. And so these might be my favorite lyrics in the whole song.
I don't get it. Maybe it's when I was watching this, Babalu was in the kitchen doing something, and he eventually came out and said, "What are you looking at?" And then just looked at me and said, "This is horrible." And I went, "Yep, it's horrible." I just, with the no pitch and the flat lyrics and the different, it's just bad. It's just bad. I can't get past that, how badly they're all sounding.
So I went to a friendly bar.
So wait, remember, their car broke down. She was on empty, right? So she went to a friendly bar. Okay.
Right.
There was a show.
This one's different.
Okay, so she ran out of gas. She goes to a bar. They're having a drag show. She's like, well, this is weird. This is different. Okay. By the way, they're singing while they're in drag. Okay.
Right.
Lost and confused, I had to smile from within. When I realized these women were men. Can I get an amen?
That's what the funny thing about this song. None of the groups of lyrics have anything to do with each other. So this set of lyrics is about how they went to a bar.
Yeah. So doesn't it make more sense if you have enough money to go to a bar and get a drink that you should go get some gas to put in your car?
But how have they never heard of drag queens before?
Well, if they are in fact drag queens too.
But also, I think the point you're hitting on. You're right. They never say what it is. No, lost and confused. I had a smile from within. But why would you? When I realized these women were men. Now, but here's my question. I don't care how interesting the show is. If my car is I'm trying to be somewhere and my car is out of gas. Right. Why would I go in a bar and go like, wait a minute, my car is abandoned somewhere. I'm going to sit down and watch a show. Is that the point you were making?
Yes, it makes no sense. If anytime my car has ever been broken down, unfortunately, I call AAA and I sit in my car and I wait for them to show up. And luckily now we have cell phones and stuff. There were cell phones back then in 2000, whatever this is.
Yeah. But that's why I love it. That's why I love it. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I love it. All right, here we go.
Can I get an amen? If you can't love yourself.
Okay, so they're singing this right now. There's a big break here before we get to the next set of verses. I love this. I love it.
I hate this.
You really?
I really hate this.
And it has a nice little beat.
I love this that we're talking about it. I hate this song.
Okay, here we go. I think there's a little bit of a break here. Here it comes.
Your beard grew back again.
Now, by the way, we're on now to these lyrics have nothing to do with what just happened in the previous lyrics. Now it's your beard grew back again. Okay, here we go.
Girl, that's okay. Just keep shaving. All your dreams in front of you. Just don't sashay. Don't misbehave.
Okay, wait. I'm going to stop right here. Because if you remember earlier in the episode, Jade is suggesting these lyrics and they're like, oh, God. Oh, fucking Jade Jolene, fucking dumbass lyrics, right?
Yeah.
But one, Jade's lyrics are more, even though they're complete about something different, more in line with what Coco and Alyssa were writing. But two, it kind of makes. Well, no, what I mean is like
you got to shave.
Well, in the quality, not necessarily in what they're talking about. And what I'm saying though is like it makes sense if you know if you have to shave, you just keep shaving if your beard grew back or whatever she said, right? What the fuck is Ivy Winter saying? It doesn't match with what Jay Jolie's singing. It makes no sense. But at least Jay Jolie's like, look, if your beard grew back again, just keep shaving, right? That's kind of like a metaphor for like if you fall down, get up. Okay? Yeah. But what does Ivy Winters mean?
Well, Ivy's is something about don't sashay away.
Let me go back a little bit.
Stop
just a little
misbehaving.
Bit. Yeah, that's something. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Just a little bit. Here we go.
Just don't sashay.
Here we go.
All your dreams in front of you. Just don't sashay. No misbehaving.
All your dreams in front of you. Just don't sashay. No misbehaving.
So maybe that's kind of speaking to the, like you were talking about, if you need to shave, get back up. So if your dreams are in front of you, don't just walk away from them. And that's what
I don't know. Here we go.
I don't know.
Let's see what
trying
Jinx
to add on to the shaving.
Yeah, that's what Jinx says here.
Don't let the weight of the world flatten your wings. Just tease it out, turn Adam to Eve.
Okay, now that actually makes sense.
Okay.
And it's kind of clever. Don't let the weight of the world flatten your weave.
Yeah.
Just give it a tease, turn Adam to Eve. All right. I like it. It's a good line.
It's clever.
It's clever. Look, she's making the best of what she has. She has to work with this Ivy Winters who makes no sense. And Jay Jolie who wants so much shaving, right? Meanwhile, Jay Jolie hasn't had a shave. She's never had a shave. All right, here we go.
I get an amen. Can I get an amen?
Okay, this is what they're singing. So actually, like, okay, point for Jinx. I think neutral on Jade, and then I don't understand Ivy's just because she sang it well.
Maybe because, well, yeah, I mean, you could listen to the rest of them.
But that's why I'm saying it's at least the Coco and Alyssa, theirs was memorable. I could sing you that verse anytime you want. That's why I'm saying maybe they were good. All right, here's the bridge. Here we go.
When life pulls you down, put on a shiny sequins gown.
Okay, so she says sequins gown. But okay, that makes sense. That's actually in line with what Jinx was doing. All right? And what the other group was trying to do. So they were kind of so in other words, when life hits you hard, just keep getting up. That's kind of the thing, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with what Coco and Alyssa were singing, right? Right, here we go.
If you can get a gig, go buy yourself a lace front wig.
Now, that's the thing is,
they make fun of that. Alyssa and Coco make fun of that in the workroom.
It doesn't make sense. If you can't get a wig, if you can't get a gig, go get a lace front wig.
They were talking about how expensive they are.
Yeah, but I get what detox is. It's actually the drag equivalent of let them eat cake, right? Where it's like, oh, you can't get a gig, well, just go buy a lace front wig. You're like, oh, okay. I remember years ago when I was a poor college student, someone broke into my car, okay? Mm-hmm. And they ripped apart my dashboard and stole the stereo. I mean, they did a number on it, right? And so the insurance company took my car and had to take it in. They were going to fix the dashboard and put a new radio in. And I think, this is before the insurance company took the car, though. I was driving around, but I had no radio. I was driving with the ripped apart dashboard and no radio. Mm-hmm. And I was telling my students this, and they were just like, I was like, ugh, it's been awful. I've been driving around with no radio. And they're like, well, just go buy a radio. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, no, I'm waiting for the insurance and I'm poor. Like, but then just go to the store and they literally could not understand what I was saying. Anyway, here we go. So I went and got a lace front wig.
Just tuck your junk and hit that runway. It'll get better someday.
Okay. So this is where I think the song really shines, is when they start doing the freestyling.
The riffing,
the freestyle. Here we go.
Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? If you can love
Which is funny because a lot of the ones from the show don't make it in here. Like Ivy doesn't make it in, or Jade, or anything.
Can I get an amen?
They'd rather have time to repeat this over and over again.
Love yourself. How in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Amen.
All right, so they just did the chorus. Now here comes the freestyle right here after this. Here we go.
Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen?
That's Alaska.
You can love yourself. How in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen? Woo! Can I get an amen?
Here we go, Roxy.
If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else?
Here comes Jinx. That Jinx holding that note so long gets me every single time. I love it. That, like, to me, her holding that note, like, can I get it? That is the song to me. That's what does
it for you. That's the sweet spot.
The piece de resistance. Yes. I love that part. And I can't believe you don't think that's funny.
No. And
she's holding the, like, so long. She's holding it, like, so long.
Oh, that moment where she holds that note for that long is funny, but the whole song itself, I'm not a big, I loved We Are the World when I was 11 or whenever that came out, but songs like that now are just kind of, and I get that it's trying to make fun.
Could you name everybody in We Are the World?
I could probably name... I bet I could.
Let me see. Okay, you're gonna have to name it as it goes. Okay. Now it's a really long song.
You mean as each person sings?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, I could do that.
Really?
I could definitely do that. Yes.
Okay, here we go, guys. This is the inspiration for Can I Get an Amen? This is We Are the World.
I used to really love this song when I was a kid.
It's a good tune.
It is a good tune. It should be. It was written by Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, and Lionel Richie.
Yeah. Here we go. You have to call it as they sing.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Taylor at his best. We Are the World.
There comes a time.
Lionel Richie.
Okay.
When we heed a certain call. When the world
who's that?
must come together as one.
Stevie Wonder.
There are people dying.
Oh,
when it's time to lend
I know who that is.
That's Smokey Robinson.
No, isn't it Paul Simon?
Oh, okay, Paul Simon. All right, you're right. Okay, so I got the one wrong. Okay.
The greatest gift
oh wait. Oh no. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. I gotta do something here. Because I'm not even trusting myself.
What are you doing?
I'm not trusting myself. I'm sure someone has singing order. We Are the World. I'm sure. Oh yeah, it came up right away. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna need to hear the song. You're going to play the song, right?
Okay, here we go. We Are the World, a minute-by-minute breakdown. A minute-by-minute breakdown? Is that for the... Okay.
Okay.
Let me see here. Okay, here we go. So, yeah, Lionel Richie kissed it off himself. Okay. Stevie Wonder steps up to the microphone and harmonizes with Richie. Okay. Oh, they're actually doing... Okay, now it is Paul Simon. Oh, it's time to lend a hand. But this one, they're actually telling you the story of what's happening when this happened.
Okay. All right, well, I know the next one is Kenny Rogers.
Are you cheating?
No! I can see the video in my head, and I can hear... Play the song. If you play the song, I'll be able to...
I'm trying to find... I guess I'm going to have to go with this. The best I have is right here, because... well,
why can't you play the song?
I am going to play the song. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Rolling Stone article because it's the best we can do. Okay. Okay, here we go.
There comes a time.
Lionel Richie.
When we heed a certain call.
All right.
When the world must come together as one. There are people
Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Oh, when it's time.
Paul Simon.
Yeah, Paul Simon.
The greatest gift of all.
go.
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
Pretending day by day.
Oh, I know who that
is. Jeffrey Osborne?
I was going to say James Ingram. Hold on. Okay, keep going.
Okay, that's Tina Turner.
It was James Ingram. And then Tina Turner.
Okay. And this is Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, yeah.
All right, then Michael Jackson.
We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we make.
Diana Ross.
Yeah, easy.
We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me.
I know who the first one is in the next section.
Well, send them your heart.
Dionne Warwick, yeah.
So they know that someone cares. And their lives will be
Okay.
stronger and free.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
God has shown us by turning stone to bread.
And so we all must lend a helping
Stop.
Okay. Who was that before Bruce Springsteen?
Well, I knew that was Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, that's too easy. I'm not going to feel bad. I know who it is. I've seen it right here. Okay.
Oh, God, who is it? Okay.
I'll give you a hint if you want.
Give me a hint.
He sang the theme to one of your favorite TV shows.
What?
Yeah. He sang the theme song to one of your favorite
Go back and play it. Can you scrub back a little bit?
Yeah, I can scroll back a little bit.
Turning stone to bread.
And so we all must lend.
Oh, Al Jarreau.
Al Jarreau.
Okay, Al Jarreau. All right.
Just to solve the question, it was the theme to Moonlighting, which for anyone that was Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis from the 80s.
One of my all-time favorite TV shows of all time.
Yeah.
I own that. I love that. I want that to be on streaming somewhere.
Okay, all right, here we go. All right, Bruce Springsteen.
We are the children. We are the ones.
Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins, yeah.
So let's start giving. Oh, there's a choice we're making.
Steve Perry from Journey.
You're right, yep.
We're saving our lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me.
Daryl Hall.
Yeah, that's right.
Michael Jackson again.
Yeah. So far, so good.
But if you just believe,
Huey Lewis.
Yeah. I'll hit the best part.
Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah. Well.
Kim Carnes.
Yeah, Kim Carnes. Very good.
And everybody.
Yeah.
we are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. So we'll make a better day. Just you and me. We are the world.
There's a lot of. So I will say this Rolling Stone article, I'm going to read it after we're done. It's completely fascinating. All right, here he comes.
There's a choice we're making.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
We're saving our own lives. It's true.
And I know Ray Charles is in there.
Yeah.
Isn't Ray Charles?
I think it's coming up right here, I think.
No. It's,
Oh, you're right.
did Bruce Springsteen do it again?
Oh, does he?
Does he?
It's hard to tell because I will say this is what makes the article interesting. They give you like fucking stories and backgrounds of every minute that happens in the song.
Okay. I remember in the video. Hold on.
Here's Ray Charles.
There's Ray Charles. I remember when they initially did it. I remember watching a making of, and they went through everybody, and then they had to redo it because Cyndi Lauper's bracelets. You
They
could
talk
hear them
about
in
it.
the microphone.
They talk.
I remember
about
that,
it.
and then she was like, "Sorry, guys," and everybody laughed, and then they sang the song again. I could name a. Okay, I know the Pointer Sisters were there. I know LaToya Jackson was there. I know Bette Midler was there. I'm trying to think of other people that were just kind of in.
Dan Aykroyd, which made no sense.
Were there the other Jacksons were there, weren't they? Wasn't like
I feel like almost all the Jacksons were there.
Yeah.
You know what's I'm going to read this article. I've always wanted to write a story. I got to be very vague about it because I want to put it out there in the universe. But I remember the title was "I Am the World," and so it's about the record. It's a comedy about the recording of the "We Are the World" song, and so that's why this is super interesting to me. I'm going to read it.
Send me a link to that.
Yeah, it's actually really. I'm like reading it while you're like naming them. I'm like, oh, what that happened?
So I'm trying to think. I can see the picture of all of them standing at the end of the video, and then everybody signs their name.
Yeah. And the graphics in the beginning are like, oh, it's so cheesy now.
With the white with the blue globe that's spinning.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Anyway, it's the same thing for them. On the main stage, Coco and Detox continued their fight in front of the judges. Michelle won the Alaska talks about the dangers of clicks, and Alaska was told she doesn't seem genuine. Later, Ivy Winters was named the winner of the challenge, while Jade Jolie and Coco Montrese were forced to go head-to-head in a lip-sync battle for their lives. The song, I'm So Excited, a random new version, by the way, by the Pointer Sisters.
But that goes back to that where the band splits up. So they probably, the one sister, or the one sister's family, when did she die?
I can look.
She probably didn't give them rights to...
Yeah, because what happened, Joe Betance ranting about rights, is you can own the rights to the recording, but they can't stop the other Pointer Sisters from re-recording the song. Does that make sense? And then having their own rights. If that makes sense. Especially if the Pointer Sisters all own the publishing, they can, the two that don't have, they can go make their own reversion and use that.
Oh, and they do. Yeah. I mean, the Pointer Sisters' Greatest Hits is a great collection of songs, the original version. She died in 2006, so she was long dead at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I definitely was curious because they only had two of them if they were going to release the new episode. Well, it's kind of like everything that we're seeing right now with, Taylor Swift and her whole fighting for where she's going to re-record, or she's saying she's going to re-record all of her old albums.
Yeah.
So that way she has new versions of the masters.
Exactly. And then in the end, Coco delivered the goods while Jade Jolie failed to impress the judges. In the end, Coco Montrese survived to see another day while Jade Jolie was asked to sashay away. Taylor Latte Boy, any final thoughts on the episode?
You and I have had many conversations about this episode and my distaste for it, but I'm glad I watched it again because it was, other than the song, which I know you love, I did kind of enjoy the episode and just watching a lot of what's going on. Untucked was the episode in which Alyssa gets a message from her father, and there was a lengthy discussion about what it's like to grow up gay. Some of which felt genuine, some of which felt everybody else in the room is getting attention, so I have to pretend to cry kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. My husband, who normally doesn't respond this way, walked past the TV though while they were all crying and just shook his head and went, "So much drama," which made me giggle. So.
All right. Very good. You know, one thing I was going to say is this is like, I was thinking this is peak Drag Race. And what I mean, I don't mean it the way you think, not the quality of the episode. I think I love the song, and what I'm talking about is the machinations of the episode, in that they clearly wanted Jade out of there, right? They wanted Jade gone, and their sights were set on Jade. Now, she helped them by having that horrible outfit, right?
Yeah.
But you could have easily made a case for Alyssa and Coco going up against each other, you know, for what they've been building towards. Because of how bad their verse was and blah, 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 blah. But I think they realized we can't do that to Alyssa. We got to get rid of all the filler queens first. And so even though Jade, I don't know if you know this, Taylor, she is the longest, as of when I read, I don't know if this is still true, but as of that season 5, had gone the longest without ever being in the top or bottom. And then she goes home, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she does her lip sync, but you're saying they want her gone, and that because we've seen this fail. Like, remember Valentina and
Nina
Bonina Brown, you could tell that the show was trying to be a producer and say, okay, now it's time for Valentina to just do the final death blow on Nina Bonina Brown, and we know that didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
But they've done this before, and you can tell they're like, because Coco's already lip sync. They know Coco can lip sync, right? So they're
this
like,
was not a great lip sync.
No, it wasn't. But they were like, she can send her home. Coco can send J. Jolie home. And sure enough, so they did that. And then they do that thing where, again, peak Drag Race, where they have her do her story about coming out during the elimination day. I didn't pay attention to the makeup because sometimes there are some Redditors who can spot, like, that's not the makeup from that episode. So I don't know if I didn't pay attention. I don't know if it's from that day. But they had their sights set on J. Jolie to get her fucking out of there. And that's why when I say it's peak Drag Race, everything worked the way they wanted it to work.
The puppet masters are pulling the strings.
Yeah, well, the puppet masters are pulling the strings. Detox and Coco are fighting, and everything's happening the way they want it to happen. And so I think this episode it's like almost like the textbook of how they want to do their shows. So yeah, that's my final thoughts on the episode. Any other final thoughts on this episode, Taylor?
No, I'm enjoying the season. I know that I sounded at times like I was a little down on this season, but I am enjoying watching it, knowing what I know. Mm-hmm. I know that next week is the RuPaul roast.
Yeah.
So, and that's a famous episode, right?
Yeah.
So, because I was trying to figure out who goes home next, and then I remembered why it's a famous episode. So,
yeah. All right. Very good. Well, Taylor, we have one thing to say to you. That's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct every episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 5. So, for Taylor the Latte Boy and myself,
sashay away until next week.
Thank you for listening to RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Email us at dragracerecap@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Drag Race Recap. If you want access to more content, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can follow Taylor the Latte Boy on Twitter and Instagram at PIMCTaylor. You can follow Lori Roggenkamp on Instagram at PickleMyth. Follow Joe Betance on Twitter and Instagram at Joe Betance. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast. This podcast was made possible by the following exclusive tier Patreon supporters: AJ Norris, April Pacheco, Astute Girl, Brad Coley, Bree Weiss, Common Cool, Coco San Pedro, D-Man, Dean Barney UK, Devin McKay, Diana Sklans, Doofus Maximus, Haley Sklans, Humble Pie, J. Thomas Plank, Jeffrey Thunderbear, Jesse Harris, Jesse Lozano, Jimmy Kielbasa, John J., Jordan Darling, Katie Whitmire, Lauren Eckert, Luke Stamen, Melissa Payton, Nicholas Alexander Springham, Nikki Baker, Parker Elliott, Pedro SF, Rachel J., Robert NYC, Sandy Ramirez Ruiz, Scott Sorensen, Sir Met Smith, Travis Potter, Yaz Waz, and Eve Adams.